What is pile? A long pipe, a long hollow pipe is driven into the ground to support the structure. Am I right? What are the conditions under which it is used? There are two things, mainly two things. To strengthen the building wherever the soil structure is very poor, very loose soil, right, bearing capacity is low, then they go for pile foundation. And for all high-rise buildings, they go for pile foundation. And also for minimizing the space. There are many criteria under which pile foundations will be used. Pile means they do one pile up, one after another. The hollow pipes, or it may be precast piles already made with the concrete, are driven into the ground one after another, pile up, one after another. There is a limitation of length of the pipe, right? Due to the material, due to the strength, the flexural strength, they will limit the length, and one after another they pile up until the depth of foundation is completed, or up to the basement. Sometimes it's coming up to the basement, or up to the foundation alone, right? Uh, they are supporting the structure, and it is important that you choose the material, choose the design the pile, the size of the pile, and drive the pile with safe care, without breaking, without because it's very heavy thing, right? There is a video. Did you see the video, the pile driving? Pile driving, did you see the video?
No.
Yes, right? How much time and how much effort is required, and what are the equipments required? So care should be taken to drive safely without breaking. Okay, main types are concrete piles, steel piles, timber piles, and composite piles, right? And these three are completed for you. Concrete piles may be cast in place or cast in situ. Precast concrete by IR4, all are modular, off-site, not on-site, all off-site. Coming to the site, wherever you want, you build it. That is IR4. Always remember that. No more going to the site. Okay, in future. So you should know how the precast is made. It's good if they have a separate course on. 1 minute. Sorry, I'm in class. I will call you later. Okay. Okay. Where is it? Cast in place concrete pipes. Precast, it's good you have a separate module itself on precast. In our time, we studied a separate module. So precast or off-site constructions, you should learn more. Drilled shafts, right? The shafts are drilled, and then for the concrete. Steel piles, driven piles, H-type, cylindrical type, tapered type. Next one is timber piles. It's also driven. Okay, it's also driven. Composite piles. Finally, composite. It may be both material, alternate material, or polymers, like that. I mean, mixed materials will be used in composite piles. Let's see what are the. You see here composite piles. The hollow, the structure or outer cover is concrete, and it's reinforced with the channels, with the channels like this. It may be I section, H section, or any type of, in other words, reinforced piles. It's not just reinforcement, but using a channel and type of beam itself. We call this as a beam, right? Reinforcing the pile. You see here, that's why it's called composite, both concrete and steel. It's not steel alone, timber alone, concrete alone. Both steel and concrete is employed. That's why it's called composite. The pile unit's upper and lower portion consists of different types of piles. Composite piles is a pile made of steel and concrete members that are fastened together end to end to form a single pile. Okay, you see here again, the outer is concrete, the inner is the steel. Right, inner is steel. Sometimes it is like this. Sometimes it may be alternate arrangement, alternate piles. A steel pile and concrete pile, steel pile, concrete. But that is very risky. We cannot calculate the strength, and we cannot make sure how much yielding strength will be there, right? And then it is a combination of different materials or different shaped materials such as pipe and H-beams, or steel and concrete, like this, steel and concrete, steel and concrete. These are the example pictures you are seeing, composite piles. So made out of steel and concrete. It's not concrete alone or steel alone. What type of pile is ready available? Okay, types of pile chosen depends on, right? The conditions are very important. Otherwise, you'll be wasting your money, wasting time, wasting your manpower. What type of pile is ready available? Location and type of structure, ground condition, cost and durability. These are the main factors. Remember the factors, whether it's durable, economic, right? Economic within the budget and the condition of the unless otherwise it is required. If the soil itself is hard or you are building the construction on a rock, no need of pile. Okay, rock foundation. You just lay the foundation with a rock itself. The building is sitting on the rock, that is not required unless you are a very high elevated house or going deeper, going higher, then you need a pile. So based on the type of the ground, you should give the choice for this type of pile. Location and type of structure. Location, yeah, whether always raining, right? Swampy land, or the climate is keep changing, right? Cold and hot and cold keep changing, so seasonal. And then what type of structure, whether it's a high rise or just a bungalow type or industry structure, heavy equipments, heavy plant, it's a plant, big plant or manufacturing plant using heavy structures, heavy equipments, then you need to decide which type of structure is going to come on the foundation. Then you can suggest for pile. What type of pile is readily available? That is one thing, right? Sometimes if you start construction, in the beginning the contractor supplies all steel piles. End of it, until the end of the building, right? You will be using only designing based on these steel piles. Having given steel piles, you find number of piles, now size of the pile, spacing, everything you decide based on that. And moving on, it may be a main building or infrastructure, you have to use it because the stock is already there. It maybe they are outsourced to their sister concern or to their subcontractors who are favoring them. Then you have to base on that. So these are the criteria under which you'll be choosing the piles. Any question at this point? This is interesting one. Any question? Okay. Next one, displacement piles. Type of pile construction. So having given the types of piles, you should know how this is constructed. All of you know this part. This project, this module is all about the construction, right? Imagine yourself as a construction engineer. Although you are studying some of the roles in the beginning, what is civil engineer, what is project engineer, what is consultant, contractor, your module is revolving around construction. Imagine as though you are at the site. Imagine yourself as though you are constructing, you are supervising, you are seeing the construction of the work. So this module is all about knowing how the construction is made, how the construction of the foundation, how the construction of basement, the walls, the superstructure, roof, and so on. Okay, you should know one by one how the construction is being done stage by stage. That is why this module is given. It is not site work, sorry, office work. It is at the site how you design, how not design, how you construct. So whenever you read additional material, take all about the construction at site. Read about that. That will be helpful for your doing assignment, exams, and so on. Okay, nothing to do with your office work of planning, site engineering, but designing, drafting, what else? Detailing, estimation, right? No, this module all about construction and site. How you use the material, how you stock the material, what is the safety, what is the environment, the duties, right? Duties of the contractor, the engineer of the site, and so on. Come on, displacement piles. It causes the soil to be displaced rapidly as well as vertically as a pile shaft is driven or jacked into the ground. Okay, nowadays the jack method is used. That is what I written here. It's very fast and quick method, the recent one. Falling weight drop hammer. They use a falling weight drop hammer to. There is no digging hole or digging There's one thing is they dig the hole and inside the pipe. Another one they put the rig or the what you call the hollow pipes and then pour the concrete. But in this case, it displaces as it is driven. Right? While it is driven, it displaces the soil, get into the ground, stuck to the ground or support the structure. So it displaces the soil. That's why its name is called displacement piles. So it is driven by displacing the soil into the ground, and it is fixed at the level or the height it is to be driven. Displacement, the other way. Just now I said some precautions are there. Some what do you call preparation method is important in non-displacement piles. Let us see what are they. It causes the soil to be removed and resulting hole filled with concrete or precast concrete pile is dropped into the hole and grouted in. See here, I think you would have studied before. They put the hole, right? They dig the hole. If it is a concrete, you just pour one by one. If it is a steel, like the composite one, you put the steel and then grout it. You must clean it, right? Properly clean it, and then start pouring the concrete inside or insert the steel inside. Right? There are care should be taken to avoid the soil spilling into the ground, sent to this pile, right? It may be a differential, it will cause a differential settlement, differential strength achieved, right? So to avoid that, care should be taken for spilling while driving the materials inside. It may be a steel, it may be a concrete, and so on. Okay, that's why they clean it. After put the pipe, they clean it. That's called grouting. They do the grouting and then they pour the concrete. And the jack, the construction, the cross section of the jack looks like this. This is a hammer. This is a hammer going to be hitting on or blowing on the pile. This is the hammer going to blow on the hammer. This is the cushion type, and then the connector between the hammer and the support. And here you can see the pump and the motor. Precast concrete, and they are doing the precast concrete. So the pile is driven, the steel is driven by using a hammer arrangement, and this method is called hydraulic jack method. They uses the hydraulic energy for moving this jack into the hammer to drive the pile inside the ground. And the same arrangement, this small arrangement is fitted here. I think this video you have seen already. You have seen, right? Can you tell me once again? I'm sorry. There is a video I posted together with this slide. Did you see the video? Excuse me? Are you there?
No, miss.
Why? Somewhere in the maybe the last slide. Every slide, last slide I will post that the video links. Interesting if you see the video. Maybe that's the next one. Wait one moment. I'll show the video first on how this is drilled. The same jack arrangement. I think here. Yeah. Can you hear? One moment, let me share the slide for you. You can hear, right?
No, miss.
One moment, I have to include the voice while sharing, then it works. One moment, sir. Okay. You can hear now.
Hello piling friends. Today we'll be talking about pile driving method. Pile driving technology is a process where already built piles are driven into the ground with the help of a piling rig and an impact hammer. Piles can be concrete precast piles, steel piles, or wooden piles, depending on the required application, grounds, feasibility, and so on. The pile driving rig is a hydraulic heavy machinery that's composed from the base machine, self-erecting mast or leader, and a hammer. The machine sizes can vary from approximately 40 tons to approximately 100 tons, depending on the required leader capacity, length of the pile, and the impact hammer's weight, but also depending on the angle of the pile, as piles can be racked as well. The impact hammers used on the rig are the main assembly performing all the work and should be carefully considered, depending on the work required. Impact hammers can vary from 6 tons weight to approximately 40 tons weight, obviously depending on the diameter, length, and ground conditions. For example, a Yuntan PM25 pile driving rig with a Yuntan HHK5 7S impact hammer has the ability to drive 30-meter piles of approximately 850 millimeter diameter in the ground, thanks to its 103 Knm energy from a maximum drop height of 1.5 meters, with anywhere between 30 and 100 blows per minute. Although it looks like a very simple process, the pile driving method requires very skilled operators and assistants due to numerous variations that need to be considered. A few examples of the factors that need to be considered by the operator when driving a concrete pile into the ground: the number of blows per minute, the drop height, the energy applied, the angle of the pile, the composition of the soil, layer by layer. An extremely important step in the process that requires all attention is the pile handling, due to the weight and the length of the pile. A pile can vary between 200 kilograms and 5 tons. Pile driving technology is used around the world for bridges, land and marine work, as well as for residential and commercial building. Geography-wise, pile driving method is used almost all over the world due to a large number of applications. Next week, we will have a very special episode as we are celebrating 1 year.
Okay. Should I play again? No need, right? Hello, are you there?
No need, miss.
Okay.
No need, miss.
Okay. Can you answer me how much is that tons, the tons of loading the hammer? How much the tons required? Huh? How much, what's the tons of the hammer which is driving the pile inside?
6 to 40.
Yeah, correct. Okay, what's 1 ton is equal to how much newtons or kilonewtons? Tons force, tons force you have to say, because you're relating to the force. Kilonewtons or newtons? That's why I ask you whether I can play. Okay, you play later and find out. So much weight of the hammer is required to drive the pile of capacity. What is the capacity of the pile? One pile maybe weighing about. That is also came in the video. So you have to observe the video carefully. How much the weight of the pile roughly?
200 kilo to 5 tons.
Very good. Times 5, times 5. So it depends on the material, it depends on the number of piles they are doing it. Okay, so care should be taken for driving, handling, and then positioning it. Above all, the the joint between the piles, that's also most important to connect properly. Otherwise, the whole structure will be in hazard condition. Okay, let's continue with the board piles. The video is already there in the slide. Okay, you can watch through again if you want. Board pile. I'm sorry. I need to give the other slide. Okay. Let me share this one. Okay. We are here, right? Okay. At this point. So now you understood how these trucks, the trucks are carrying the jack and then the supported by the cranes and then driving the pipes inside the piles inside the ground. So now we had the video how this is being operated. If you have any question, you can ask me anytime. Okay. Piers. Piers are the foundation. So far we saw the piles, right? Now become piers. The only difference is a wall or the pipe-like structures. Maybe wall-like or pipe-like structure or combined one. Let's see one by one how they are. What are piers? Piers are foundation for carrying a heavy structural load which is constructed in situ in a deep excavation. Nowadays the piers also off-site and modular construction has all these types of piers made off-site that we will see later, but mainly they are in situ in a deep excavation. It's a vertical bridge support. It's a vertical bridge support. Here you can see the diagram. Pier type with the infill or curtain wall between columns. These are the columns. So this is joining. And then here individual spread footing, truncated pyramid form. So it's a pyramid form. The footing is in a pyramid form, right? The footing is in a pyramid form. And then you have the piers. And then this one is a pier type with the two columns for pier types with the two columns for four girders perpendicular to the slide. It will be the girder, right? The girder, this may be a steel member or any type of material that they use as a girder perpendicular to the border. You can project this to the perpendicular to the slide, and this is supported. This is supported by these piers, right? These piers. Crosshead cantilevers. Crosshead cantilevers. Okay. Maybe the type of extension is cantilever, not fully supported or simply supported. They are cantilevers. So you need to support them by, in addition to this support, you need to support them by piers. So wherein they use the piers. No need of piles here, just a wall type wall or a concrete construction in this type of structure will be doing or supporting the girders. In one word, if you differentiate, mostly the piers are used for, compared to piles, piers are carrying the less load than the piles, and they are on ground. If you construct underground, it is not that much efficient enough to support the load, so they use mostly on ground. Piles can be on ground or off ground, underground. And these are the examples. Roadway they are using, because it's a varying load, right? Not already concentrated load, varying load on the moving over the, or it depends on the capacity of the traffic, capacity of the transport that is running on this road. So this type of loading, no need of using a steel pile, a heavy pile, but they can use this type of concrete piers to support the varying load or any highway load. A bridge, which is again it depends on whether it is standing on the water. What type of water, what is the head of water, what is the variation of the flow in the crossway. Check, and then based on that you can construct the piers. If you construct steel piles, again it's a problem of corrosion, right? Corrosion, timber also, dampness, honeycomb, all the problems will arise if you go for other materials. But if you use the RCC, a bit of durability is relatively better compared to other materials. That's why they go for this type of RCC or concrete or any type of wall or masonry structure. We call this as masonry. I type the word masonry. Have you heard about this masonry? I don't know. Masonry. Masonry means a wall, maybe brick masonry or stone masonry or any concrete type. It's a wall or a construction. Okay, caissons. Next type is a caissons. Let's see what are the caissons type. Prefabricated. What's the time now? 6:10. I do the quizzes last 5 minutes. Is that okay? Last 5 minutes. Stop me at 6:20 or 25.
Yes, miss.
One moment, sir. I want to go to the attendance. Keep. One moment. Let me take the attendance. How many of you join? No need to answer any attendance. I am downloading already, so you don't have to worry about. 32 join. 31. Again, there's 2 persons missing. I don't know what happened to them. Okay, continue. Prefabricated hollow box or cylinder. They are sunk into the ground to some desired depth and then filled with concrete. This depth is decided by the design engineer and the amount of loading it has to support. Filled with concrete, thus forming a foundation. Okay, they calculated the overcoming load based on that. They decide the depth and also other criteria like soil type, structure type. Then they decide the depth of foundation. Most often used in the construction of bridge, pier, and other structures that require foundation beneath. Low battery, which is low battery? Maybe this one. One moment. We also put this one. One moment, sir. Low battery. Doesn't matter. Okay, most often used in the construction of a bridge, pier, or other structures that require foundation beneath rivers and other bodies of water. This is similar to the piers, but piers, we can call this as pier, but they are constructed outside, like the one I said, they put the ring first, the hollow boxes or cylinder first, and then they pour the concrete or just fill up with the filling material. Usually, the type of load, varying load, not concentrated like load like a structure, building, the residential building or industrial building, but the varying type of load like wherever there is on and off, the loading type, highway, maybe highway, around toll plaza or other means of transportation, it can be used. This is because caissons can be floated to the job site and sunk into the place. Yeah, see, transportation and carrying, handling is also easier when you use caissons as a foundation. Others will sink, right? Steel pile will sink and difficult to transport from one place to another. There's another issue in addition to corrosion and other types. Okay, what is a caisson? Similar in form to pile foundation, but instead using in different way used when soil is adequate bearing strength is found below the surface layer. In simple words, wherever the soil is good enough and it is requiring just supporting the additional load that is coming on the structure or coming on the ground, then you can go for caisson, right? When the soil itself is loose, then you should avoid caissons and piers type. Should go for proper pile foundation. Here, the surface is good enough to support the structure already, then you go for pile, the caissons type of structure. Such as fill or peat, right? The peat type. A form of deep foundation which are constructed above ground level, then sunk to the required level by excavating or dredging material within the caisson. Yeah, either pouring, they excavate and then pour the concrete or any grouting, any type of material slurry into the hole to make a concrete pipe or a caisson, or otherwise they put a hollow pipe first and then fill with the material. Both way it can be done. See here the example 1. Concrete ring to protect side caisson from collapsing. These are the concrete ring, and then the they do the stepped one. Instead of having a plain one, they have the stepped one, so that they can even go inside from the bottom. They can start pouring and going up. Plastic hose for supply of fresh air, right? People go working there, right? The fresh air to clean, maybe purpose of the clean or purpose of mixing, they will use it. Electric cable for lamp and water pump, right? They also use this type because at times it will be dark. Even in the daytime, it will be dark when you go inside, right? As you go deeper, it will be darker. And also at night, and sometimes the works are carried out at night. They use this type of arrangement for their working. Hose for supply of compressed air for power tools. Compressed air for cooling the tools that are used so that they are functioning properly. Sometimes the caissons are like this. Caisson means the meaning is a well, W-E-L, well, well type. Mostly, the simple English meaning is a well. Underground wells. Underground wells are constructed to either pour or insert or grout it. Okay. Hose for pumping up of groundwater. Yeah. Whenever they go, as you go deeper, you start digging ground, you will find water at one point, right? That means you reach underground water already, groundwater already. So the rest may be continuing, or sometimes a partial of water or a pool of water. So you need to remove it. That's why they need to check the underground so level of water before they go for construction. If there is pool of water, no point you are sitting your foundation there. You should check whether it's free from. Okay, there are failure cases I need to discuss at this point. There are accidents, building collapse. Recently, there is a building collapse in PJ, I suppose. PJ, Philippines, and then there are news every week we are getting almost 2 or 3 accidents due to this groundwater. By avoiding these sources of groundwater, the engineers started building, putting their foundation, putting their building, whatever the things that they can go in for. The example one, the recent one, if you want, I can bring with the exact information and the publication when the news and the news cutting. Last, I think, PJ, I suppose, building collapse. Before that, 2 weeks, last month, Gompak, there are building collapse. Again, the reason is due to groundwater. They didn't realize in the beginning, but in due course of time, right? In due course of time, number one is due to repeated, the structure is repeatedly undergoing or continuous raining, continuous, continuous exposure to heavy wind, heavy storm, right? Windy storm. Because of it, if there is a 3 days raining, continuous raining, automatically the groundwater will get filled and it will come raise to the level above the ground, even level above the ground. It will try to loosen the structure, the rigidity is lost, started landsliding and earthquake, even to the extent of earthquake, right? And then there's another one, the recent problem is, like last week I think, the recent problem that Malaysia is suffering is, do you know that the sea level water has risen to 5 feet, very high, 5 feet high. 1 feet, and so far I realize maximum is 1 foot. 1 feet, 1 foot risen, the seawater level risen to 1 foot. Okay, 1 foot. Then okay, bearable, right? Maybe because of climate change, the ice melting of ice that has caused the sea level rise. But if this is the case in Malaysia, I'm telling about Malaysia. They found the groundwater Nahrim. They are the research people in Serdang, Jalan Serdang, I think. Nahrim, the location, exact location, I don't remember the Jalan, but Jalan Serdang on the way. They are doing the research on groundwater. Their news is 5 feet risen already. Sea level for Malaysia coast risen up to 5 feet. What will happen? It will automatically intrude into your underground, affect the underground structures. Ultimately, there will be a impact on the superstructures. Very high, huge structures we are building, towers, this tower, that tower, all the towers may be endangered by this intrusion of water into the land if this keep on growing. Okay, so you have to be careful when you choose the foundation, the location of the foundation, type of foundation. And here they are saying the underground water is pumped out, right? Meaning there may be a parcel of water some then and then the water comes and then goes off, right? That kind of water can be removed and then start filling, so that you can complete your concreting. All right. Hand dug caisson working in sloped site. That is the slope side. The Malaysia, when you take Malaysia, Indonesia, all are steep slopes, right? Most of the land area is having a steep slope. It's not a flat terrain, so that is easier. The ground is given. Engineer Kevin, engineer Vincent can go and construct comfortably, sitting in the field, engineer room enjoying. No, there is a risk always. There is a risk always. You should be posted at the site, and each and every minute is important in this construction. Anything can happen because accidents are a minute one, right? So you see here there is a construction going on at the sloping land. They use the the caissons to construct the piles at construct the foundation at the sloping land. Hand dug caisson working in sloped site. This one. You see how messy this site is. Site is always messy and dirty, but you have to manage. You have to manage. You have to have a work diary, which has to go first and second. That's important. And loading, unloading, all the many factors are there. Okay, we'll see one by one. 1000 T Vitanas reinforced concrete caissons for Roro Terminal, Roseslayer Island. These are the caissons built for here for island. There's a construction from island. This is an example one showing. Caissons are box type caissons. Steel. And then these are all intake structure. Maybe they are constructing the intake structure. This is steel, and this forget about this one. This is important. Caissons of this type. On top, it may be another roadway, right? Another roadway or a bridge. Sometimes it may be carrying intake tower. Water will be stored onto the towers. These are the example construction for caissons.